Imagine this. You wake up one morning ready to stretch, but as soon as your feet touch the ground, a sharp ache shoots through your knees. The pain feels almost unbearable, and every step across the room feels like walking on broken glass. You pause trying to massage the stiffness away, telling yourself, this is just old age. Everyone feels this after 60. But here's the shocking truth for many seniors: that sudden stiffness or flare of arthritis isn't simply from the passing years. It's being silently fueled by something you thought was good for you: fruit. Yes, fruit, the very food that has long been celebrated as nature's candy. Doctors' magazines and diet gurus have always told us to eat more fruit, and in moderation, certain fruits are indeed wonderful sources of antioxidants and vitamins. But here's the twist that most seniors don't realize: some fruits can worsen inflammation, elevate uric acid spike, blood sugar, or even interfere with the minerals that protect cartilage. Over time, these silent effects make your knees, hips, and fingers stiffer and more painful. I've seen this play out again and again in my own practice. Mr. Daniel, a 68-year-old retired school teacher, came to me complaining of worsening morning stiffness. He was convinced that arthritis was just running its course in his body. But when we reviewed his diet, I discovered he was eating a giant bowl of mixed fruit every evening: oranges, grapes, bananas, and cherries. "Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right," he told me. Yet, when we reduced his intake of certain fruits within weeks, his morning pain and swelling had eased. What he thought was a healing habit was quietly making his joints worse. Why does this happen? As we age, our bodies process food differently. The enzymes that break down sugars slow down our kidneys, filter less efficiently, and collagen, the protein that cushions our joints, declines steadily after age 50. This means that a senior body reacts more strongly to spikes in sugar acids and inflammatory compounds than it did decades ago. A fruit that caused no issues at 40 can now fuel joint breakdown at 65. Think about it this way. Fruit is not bad in itself, but your aging body may no longer tolerate the same kinds or amounts. What once was harmless may now be quietly eroding your joint health. And yet most seniors never suspect fruit because it wears the disguise of being healthy. That's what makes it so dangerous. Before we go any further, let me pause and ask you this. Have you subscribed to our channel yet? If you haven't, I strongly recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. And while you're here, let's make this interactive. If you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If you feel it needs improvement, type 0 to let me know. Your feedback helps me bring you the exact information you need. Now, let's set the stage for what's coming. Today I'm going to walk you through 5 common fruits that, if you're over 60, may be silently weakening your joints. I'll explain the science, share real patient stories, and show you safer alternatives. By the end, you'll not only know what to avoid, but also how to protect your mobility, independence, and comfort for years to come. And the very first culprit may shock you because it's probably sitting right now in your kitchen: fruit bowl. A fruit you've been told your whole life is one of the healthiest choices you can make. Could it really be harming your joints? Let's find out. Citrus fruits, oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes are often the poster child for good health. They're packed with vitamin C, they're refreshing, and many seniors drink a glass of orange juice every morning believing it will strengthen their immunity. But here's the unsettling reality. For some older adults, excessive citrus intake can quietly aggravate joint inflammation and worsen arthritis pain. Let's start with a mainstream medical fact. Vitamin C is essential for collagen production, the very substance that cushions your joints. However, what most people don't realize is that too much acidity, which citrus fruits are loaded with, can irritate the joint lining and increase inflammation in those already struggling with arthritis. Studies have shown that older adults often have lower levels of alkaline reserves in the body, meaning they don't neutralize acids as effectively as they once did. The result: a buildup of acidic byproducts that stiffen joints and increase morning pain. Now here's the lesser-known biochemical twist. Citrus fruits also contain compounds called furanocoumarins, especially in grapefruits. These can interfere with the way your liver processes medications, including many of the anti-inflammatory drugs seniors rely on for joint pain relief. Imagine swallowing your prescribed arthritis pill, then washing it down with grapefruit juice, only to unknowingly block the medicine's effectiveness or even amplify its side effects. This isn't speculation. It's a well-documented medical interaction that thousands of seniors experience every day without realizing it. I remember a patient named Margaret, 72 years old, a retired nurse. She had been struggling with knee arthritis for over a decade. She told me proudly, "Doctor, I never touch soda or candy. I only drink freshly squeezed orange juice. But every morning her knees throbbed with such stiffness that she dreaded walking to the kitchen. When I asked her about her diet, she admitted she was drinking almost a liter of orange juice daily, convinced it was her medicine. After cutting back dramatically and switching to lower acid fruits, her morning stiffness reduced within 3 weeks. She was astonished. She had been unintentionally sabotaging her joints with what she thought was the healthiest habit of all. This is the trap so many seniors fall into, believing that if some is good, then more must be better. But with citrus, that isn't the case. A small orange or half a grapefruit a few times a week may be harmless or even beneficial. But daily large portions, especially juice, bombard your body with acids and compounds your aging metabolism can't handle efficiently. So ask yourself this: could that refreshing glass of citrus you look forward to every morning be the reason your joints ache so badly by afternoon? And if you think citrus is surprising, wait until you hear about another healthy fruit that belongs to the nightshade family, one that millions of seniors eat every single day, never realizing how it may be fueling their arthritis pain. Tomatoes, bright, juicy, and often considered a symbol of healthy eating. From fresh salads to tomato-based sauces, they're a staple in many senior diets. Doctors praise them for their lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known to support heart health and lower cancer risk. But here's the other side of the story that rarely gets discussed. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family, and for many older adults, nightshades can silently intensify arthritis pain. Let's begin with the mainstream medical fact. As we age, the cartilage that cushions our joints steadily breaks down. By the time you're in your 60s, most people have already lost a significant portion of their joint cartilage. This natural decline makes your joints more sensitive to any compound that may promote inflammation or stiffness. Even the smallest irritant can feel amplified in a body already fighting wear and tear. Now here's the hidden detail that makes tomatoes tricky. Tomatoes contain a chemical compound called solanine, common in nightshade plants. While harmless to most people in small amounts, solanine has been shown to aggravate inflammation in sensitive individuals. Seniors with osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis often report worsening stiffness and swelling when they consume too many tomatoes or tomato-based products. It's not an allergy, it's a biochemical sensitivity that becomes more pronounced as the body ages. Let me share a story. George, a 70-year-old retired carpenter, came to me with severe hand stiffness. He loved cooking and admitted to eating tomato sauce nearly every evening in pasta soups and stews. He couldn't imagine life without it, yet he noticed his fingers were so swollen in the mornings that gripping a coffee cup was painful. When we tested his inflammatory markers, they were consistently elevated. After removing tomato products for 6 weeks, his swelling dramatically decreased, and his grip strength returned. George was stunned. All my life I thought tomatoes were good for me. I never imagined they could be causing my pain. This is the heartbreaking reality for many seniors. They follow conventional wisdom, believing they're making healthy choices, only to discover those very foods are worsening their condition. And the problem is compounded by the fact that tomatoes are hidden in so many processed foods, ketchup soups, pizza sauces. Even if you think you don't eat tomatoes often, you may be consuming them daily without realizing it. So here's the question I want you to consider. Could your favorite spaghetti dinner or that nightly bowl of tomato soup be the reason you wake up stiff and sore? If tomatoes shocked you, brace yourself. Because the next fruit on our list is often praised as a superfood, yet its high sugar content can quietly erode your joints, leading to faster cartilage breakdown. Let's talk about grapes. Grapes, small, sweet, and often hailed as a heart-healthy snack thanks to their rich supply of antioxidants like resveratrol. You see them in fruit bowls, tossed into salads, and even turned into juice or wine. But here's what many seniors don't realize. While grapes may benefit the heart in moderation, their high sugar content can quietly accelerate joint damage and fuel arthritis pain. Let's start with the mainstream medical fact. After age 60, your body's ability to manage blood sugar declines. This is due in part to reduced insulin sensitivity and slower cellular metabolism. High blood sugar doesn't just raise your diabetes risk, it also stiffens collagen, the protein that cushions and protects your joints. Think of collagen like a rubber band. Over time, sugar molecules attach to it through a process called glycation turning that once flexible band brittle and fragile. The result? Joints that lose elasticity, cartilage that wears down faster, and pain that becomes a daily companion. Now here's the lesser-known detail about grapes. Despite their tiny size, they're sugar bombs. 1 cup of grapes contains around 23 grams of sugar, nearly the same as a candy bar. And while their antioxidants get all the publicity, their natural sugars quietly flood your bloodstream, spiking glucose and insulin levels. This constant roller coaster accelerates inflammation in the joints, especially in older adults whose bodies no longer bounce back the way they once did. Even worse, grapes also contain fructose, which is metabolized differently than glucose. In seniors, excess fructose can raise uric acid levels, a major trigger for gout flare-ups that cause sudden excruciating joint pain. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. Susan, a 66-year-old grandmother, came to me complaining about worsening hip and knee pain. She prided herself on avoiding cookies and cakes, saying, "Doctor, I only eat natural sugar, mostly grapes. I snack on them all day." But her blood sugar tests revealed frequent spikes, and her uric acid levels were high. When she cut her grape consumption in half and replaced them with low-sugar fruits like blueberries, her joint pain eased within a month. She later told me, "I thought I was doing the right thing. I never guessed my grapes were the problem." This is the trap of healthy sugar. Many seniors think that because it comes from fruit, it's harmless. But sugar is sugar, whether it comes from a candy bar or a handful of grapes. And for aging joints, too much sugar means accelerated wear and tear, more stiffness, and higher risk of painful flare-ups. So let me ask you, could those handfuls of grapes you pop into your mouth while watching TV actually be the reason your knees ache when you stand up? And if grapes surprised you, the next fruit might leave you speechless, because while it's often recommended to fight gout, eating it the wrong way or in the wrong amount can actually trigger the very flare-ups you're trying to avoid. Let's take a closer look at cherries. Cherries tart sweet and often praised as a natural medicine for joint health. For years, studies have shown that cherries contain anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds that reduce inflammation and even help lower uric acid levels. Because of this, many seniors reach for cherries, cherry juice, or cherry extract as a home remedy for arthritis or gout. But here's the hidden truth. While a small serving of cherries can indeed be helpful, eating them excessively or in processed forms like juice can actually do the opposite and trigger painful flare-ups. Let's begin with the mainstream medical fact. Gout, a form of arthritis common in older adults, is caused by a buildup of uric acid crystals in the joints. These sharp needle-like crystals lodge in places like the big toe, ankle, or knee, sparking excruciating attacks of pain, redness, and swelling. Seniors are especially vulnerable because kidney function naturally declines with age, making it harder to filter out excess uric acid. Now here's the overlooked detail about cherries. While they contain compounds that can reduce uric acid in moderation, they're also high in natural sugars, especially fructose. Fructose metabolism in the liver directly increases uric acid production. That means if you eat too many cherries, or worse, drink concentrated cherry juice, you may overwhelm your body's ability to process uric acid, tipping the balance in the wrong direction. What was meant to protect your joints can end up sparking an agonizing gout attack. I'll never forget a patient named Harold, 74, a retired accountant. He had read online that cherries were nature's cure for gout and began drinking 2 tall glasses of cherry juice every day. At first, he felt some relief, but after a few weeks, he developed one of the worst gout flare-ups of his life. His big toe became so swollen and tender that he couldn't put on a shoe. When we reviewed his diet, it became clear the sugar load from all that cherry juice had driven his uric acid sky high. When he scaled back to a small handful of fresh cherries just twice a week, his flare-ups decreased dramatically. Harold admitted, "I thought if a little was good, a lot must be better. I learned the hard way." This is a mistake I see often. Seniors assume that because a fruit is labeled anti-inflammatory, they can eat as much as they want. But the body, especially an older body, operates on balance. Too much of even a healthy food can tip the scales toward harm. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Could the very cherries you've been relying on to protect your joints actually be the hidden trigger behind your painful gout attacks? And if cherries left you uncertain, wait until you hear about the next fruit. It's one of the most popular, convenient snacks in the world. Yet when eaten daily without balance, it can quietly throw off your mineral ratios, leaving your joints stiffer and more prone to pain. Let's talk about bananas. Bananas, soft, sweet, and one of the most convenient fruits on the planet. Many seniors grab one for breakfast, add slices to cereal, or keep them as a quick snack to avoid unhealthy processed foods. And for good reason. Bananas are rich in potassium, an essential mineral that helps regulate blood pressure and muscle function. But here's the surprising truth. When eaten in excess, bananas can quietly disrupt the delicate balance of minerals in your body, leading to stiffness, cramping, and worsening joint pain. Let's start with a mainstream medical fact. After age 60, your body's ability to maintain electrolyte balance becomes less efficient. The kidneys filter minerals more slowly, and the balance between potassium, calcium, and magnesium becomes harder to regulate. This balance is critical for healthy muscles and joints. When it's disrupted, muscles tighten, cartilage loses flexibility, and joints become less resilient. Now here's the lesser-known detail about bananas. While they're celebrated for their high potassium content, they're relatively low in magnesium and calcium. If you eat bananas every day without balancing them with other mineral-rich foods, you may create a subtle imbalance. Too much potassium without enough magnesium can contribute to muscle tightness, which places added stress on already aging joints. On top of that, bananas are moderately high in natural sugars, which, as we've discussed, can accelerate collagen breakdown and trigger inflammation if consumed excessively. Let me share a patient story. Evelyn, 69. A retired librarian came to me with constant stiffness in her lower back and knees. She was proud of her diet, saying, "Doctor, I don't eat junk food, I just eat bananas. 2 or 3 every day." She thought they were her safe natural snack, but her blood test showed that while her potassium was at the higher end of normal, her magnesium was too low. This imbalance was contributing to muscle tightness around her joints, making her arthritis worse. When we adjusted her diet, reducing bananas to just 1 every other day and adding magnesium-rich foods like nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, her stiffness improved significantly. Evelyn was stunned. "I thought I was protecting myself with bananas. I didn't know they could be part of the problem." This is a crucial reminder for seniors: no single fruit is a miracle food. Bananas can be healthy in moderation, but relying on them daily without variety can quietly backfire. Your body needs balance, not overload. So here's my question to you. Could that daily banana habit you've trusted for years actually be tipping your mineral balance and making your joints ache more than they should? If that caught you off guard, the next section will help you see the bigger picture. Because it's not just about individual fruits, it's about how the aging body interacts with food differently after 60. And once you understand this shift, you'll finally see why certain fruits become hidden triggers for pain. Why is it that foods once harmless in your 40s suddenly wreak havoc on your body after 60? The answer lies not just in the fruits themselves, but in the way the aging body processes them. Many seniors blame their aching knees or stiff hands solely on old age, but the truth is far more complex. The decline in joint health is tied to very specific changes in how your metabolism, connective tissue, and immune system interact with everyday foods, including fruit. Let's begin with a mainstream medical fact. After age 60, your cartilage, the smooth cushion that protects your bones from grinding against each other, naturally thins and loses elasticity. This decline is accelerated by a drop in collagen production, the protein that keeps joints flexible. Combine that with slower cell repair, and the same foods you once tolerated without issue can now trigger inflammation and joint pain almost overnight. Now here's the lesser-known yet crucial detail: your gut and immune system also change dramatically with age. Seniors often develop a more leaky gut lining, meaning compounds from certain foods like acids, sugars, or plant alkaloids can slip through more easily and activate the immune system. This sparks chronic low-grade inflammation that goes straight to the weakest points in your body, your joints. In other words, the very fruit you believe is nourishing you could be quietly stoking the fires of inflammation every time you eat it. I recall one of my patients, Linda, 71, a retired school counselor. She had always prided herself on eating clean. For decades, she enjoyed daily fruit salads with oranges, grapes, bananas, and cherries. But in her early 70s, her hands began to stiffen and her knees ached with every step. She thought it was simply aging. Yet after reviewing her diet and testing her inflammatory markers, it became clear that her fruit-heavy meals were worsening her joint inflammation. When she balanced her intake, reducing high sugar and high acid fruits and adding more anti-inflammatory vegetables and lean proteins, she noticed within weeks that her mornings were less painful and her grip strength returned. Linda's story shows how the aging body can transform yesterday's superfood into today's silent saboteur. This is why blanket advice like eat more fruit doesn't always apply to seniors. Your body at 65 is not the same as it was at 35. The same orange or handful of grapes can have a very different impact on your metabolism and joints now compared to decades ago. This doesn't mean fruit is the enemy, but it does mean you must be far more selective and cautious about which fruits, how much, and when you eat them. So let me leave you with this question. Are your joint pains really just from aging, or could they be a signal that your body is no longer processing certain fruits the way it once did? If that thought makes you pause, wait until you hear the real-life stories of seniors who trusted these fruits only to discover the hidden cost in their mobility. Their experiences may sound uncannily similar to your own. When it comes to joint pain, numbers and studies can sound distant. But nothing hits home like the real-life experiences of people just like you, seniors who trusted fruits to support their health only to discover those very choices were quietly eroding their mobility. I want to share with you several patient stories that illustrate just how deceptive these healthy foods can be. First, there's Robert, age 67, a retired mechanic. Robert prided himself on staying active, gardening, fixing things around the house, and taking long walks with his dog. Every afternoon, he enjoyed a bowl of grapes as his healthy dessert. Over time, however, his knees became so stiff that he struggled to climb stairs. He assumed it was arthritis from years of physical labor, but when we reviewed his diet, it became clear his constant grape snacking was flooding his body with sugar and driving up uric acid. After cutting back to just a handful once or twice a week and adding more low-sugar berries, Robert regained much of his mobility. He told me I thought I was doing everything right. Turns out I was pouring gasoline on the fire. Then there's Eleanor, 73, who loved starting her mornings with fresh orange juice. "It keeps my immune system strong," she'd say proudly. Yet Eleanor complained of unbearable stiffness in her wrists and ankles, especially in the mornings. When she switched from daily orange juice to water with a squeeze of lemon only twice a week, her joint swelling decreased significantly. She admitted, "Doctor, I would never have guessed that the juice I thought was saving me was actually hurting me." And I can't forget Joseph, 70, a former accountant. He was convinced cherries were his miracle cure. After reading online about their anti-inflammatory properties, he began drinking cherry juice every night before bed. Within weeks, he experienced one of the worst gout flare-ups of his life. His big toe swelled so badly he couldn't wear shoes. We later discovered the high sugar load from the juice had pushed his uric acid levels dangerously high. Reducing his intake to a small handful of cherries a few times a month was enough to bring him relief. He told me, "I never thought too much of something good could turn bad so quickly." Finally, there's Helen, 68, who ate 2 bananas every morning as her quick breakfast. She thought they gave her energy and potassium for her day, but over time she noticed her lower back and hips stiffening. Blood tests revealed low magnesium, a mineral that balances potassium. Her daily banana habit had tipped her mineral balance out of sync. When we adjusted her diet, adding magnesium-rich foods while cutting her banana intake, she felt looser and more mobile within weeks. Helen shook her head and said, "I thought bananas were harmless. Who knew balance mattered so much?" These stories highlight an uncomfortable truth. Even healthy fruits can become harmful when consumed the wrong way, in the wrong amounts, or by a body that has changed with age. And if you've been struggling with worsening joint pain, perhaps you see yourself in one of these stories. So here's the question. Which fruit in your kitchen might be quietly betraying you, the one you least suspect? And that brings us to the hopeful part of this journey. Because while some fruits can fuel inflammation and stiffness, others can do the opposite, soothing your joints, reducing swelling, and even supporting collagen. Let's uncover the safer choices that can truly protect your mobility. Not all fruits are enemies of your joints. In fact, some can be powerful allies when chosen carefully and eaten in the right amounts. While citrus, grapes, cherries, and bananas may cause trouble if overconsumed, there are other fruits that actively help reduce inflammation, protect collagen, and ease stiffness. For seniors over 60, these safer fruit choices can make a remarkable difference in daily comfort and long-term mobility. Let's start with blueberries. These tiny fruits are loaded with anthocyanins, plant compounds proven to lower inflammatory markers in the body. Unlike high-sugar grapes, blueberries deliver powerful antioxidants with relatively little sugar. They don't spike your blood glucose as dramatically, meaning they won't fuel the glycation process that stiffens collagen. One of my patients, Diane, 70, swapped her nightly grape snacks for blueberries. Within a month, she reported her morning hand stiffness was noticeably lighter and she no longer dreaded opening jars or typing on her computer. Next, papaya. Often overlooked, papaya is rich in vitamin C and a special enzyme called papain, which aids digestion and reduces inflammation. Seniors with arthritis often report less bloating and joint stiffness when adding papaya a few times a week. Unlike citrus fruits, papaya is gentler on the stomach and less acidic, making it easier for older bodies to tolerate. Kiwi is another excellent choice. Packed with vitamin C and potassium, kiwi delivers the joint-supporting nutrients of citrus without the same acidic load. 1 kiwi a day provides more vitamin C than an orange, but with a fraction of the irritation. Seniors who enjoy kiwi regularly often find they get the immune boost of citrus without the flare-ups in their knees and fingers. Then there's avocado, technically a fruit. Avocados are rich in healthy fats, especially monounsaturated fats, which reduce systemic inflammation. They also provide magnesium, which helps balance potassium and prevent the mineral imbalances that bananas can trigger. I've seen many seniors who added half an avocado to their salads or toast report less joint stiffness within weeks. One gentleman, Arthur 72, who had relied heavily on bananas, found that switching to avocado not only improved his joint comfort, but also stabilized his energy levels throughout the day. Finally, strawberries. While they do contain sugar, strawberries also pack a high concentration of antioxidants and vitamin C. When eaten in moderation, a small handful, not a giant bowl, they can support collagen production without overloading the body. They also contain compounds that help lower C-reactive protein CRP, a key marker of inflammation in arthritis. These safer fruits are not just tasty but also protective. They nourish your joints instead of weakening them. The key is moderation and balance. Seniors don't need to give up fruit entirely, far from it. But you do need to choose the right fruits in the right portions and at the right times of day. So here's my question for you. What if instead of unknowingly fueling your joint pain, every bite of fruit you ate actually protected your mobility and independence? That's exactly what we'll cover in the final section, the golden rules for fruit consumption in seniors, along with a hopeful reminder that knowledge, not fear, is the real key to healthy aging. As we come to the end of this journey, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Joint pain, stiffness, and arthritis are not simply inevitable parts of aging. They are influenced every single day by the foods we choose to put on our plates. Fruits, often celebrated as nature's perfect food, can either help or harm depending on the type, the portion, and how our aging bodies respond. We've seen how common fruits like citrus tomatoes, grapes, cherries, and bananas, when eaten in excess or without balance, can silently weaken joints. Acids from citrus, solanine in tomatoes, sugars in grapes, fructose in cherries, and potassium overload from bananas can all fuel inflammation or disrupt mineral balance. And we've also seen how the aging body processes these foods differently. Slower kidney function, weaker collagen, and a more sensitive immune system mean that what was harmless at 40 can quietly become harmful at 70. But this isn't a story meant to scare you. It's a story meant to empower you. Because for every fruit that can worsen your joint pain, there are others that can protect you. Blueberries, papaya, kiwi, avocado, and strawberries can deliver antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that soothe inflammation and preserve cartilage. These fruits don't just taste good, they actively support mobility, independence, and quality of life. So, what are the golden rules seniors should follow? Eat fruit earlier in the day. Your body processes sugar better in the morning when insulin sensitivity is highest. Avoid fruit right before bed when sugar is more likely to linger in your bloodstream and stiffen joints overnight. Always pair fruit with protein or fat. A few almonds with your berries or avocado with your toast slows the sugar spike and protects your joints. Limit high-sugar fruits. Grapes, cherries, and bananas should be eaten in moderation, small portions a few times a week, not daily bowls. Watch acidic fruits. Oranges and grapefruits are fine in small amounts, but daily large servings or juices can inflame joints in sensitive seniors. Rotate your fruits. Don't rely on the same one every day. Variety prevents overload of any single compound and ensures you get a broad range of nutrients. Listen to your body. If you notice more pain after eating certain fruits, don't dismiss it as coincidence. Your body may be giving you valuable feedback. I want to leave you with the story of Mary, a 75-year-old grandmother. She came to me nearly ready to give up on gardening, her favorite hobby, because of constant knee pain. She loved fruit, especially oranges and bananas, and thought she was eating clean. With some simple swaps, replacing her orange juice with papaya, her bananas with avocado, and adding blueberries twice a week, her pain eased. A few months later, she sent me a photo of her smiling in her garden, surrounded by flowers, standing tall without pain. She wrote, "Doctor, I thought my life was shrinking, but with these changes I feel like I got it back." This is the hope I want to leave with you. Aging does not mean surrendering your independence or comfort. With knowledge, you can take control. You can choose foods that support your body rather than sabotage it. And you can keep moving, walking, gardening, playing with grandchildren, living fully without joints holding you back. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more seniors like you can gain the knowledge they need to stay healthy, strong, and independent. Take care of your joints. They carry you through every step of life. Protect them, and they will give you the freedom to keep doing the things you love.